Council, July 28, 2025, at 6:33. What we'd like to do is take a moment of silence, so if you would. Thank you. If you're able to, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, I know I'm loud because I know everybody hears me and I don't even have my mic on. So, Mr. City Manager, do we have any old business?
No, sir.
All right. Tonight we have the consent agenda. Does anybody in the audience would like to talk? We'll do an open period for number 4 or number 5 on the consent agenda. Seeing none, we will close the public period. And if I could, I'd love to get a motion for approval.
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I second.
Okay. As soon as Lori, would mind call the roll?
Vice Mayor Guthrie,
Aye.
Councilmember French,
Aye.
Councilmember Randall,
Aye.
Okay. And the agenda is approved. Now is our world famous, everybody comes here for it, public period. Please take your time, line up. But is there anybody who would like to address us with anything that's not on tonight's agenda? Okay, seeing Bob doesn't want to get up there, we will close out the public period. And on to decisions. Do you read the first decision, or do I read it?
well, we did a full business, is there any old business?
Oh, he said no. He said no. So on decisions, decision 1, second reading ordinance number 1441, adopting a new general codification of the Code of Ordinances.
Do you have the script?
No.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I do have the script. I don't go by a script too well. This is the second reading of the ordinance adopting a new general codification of code and ordinances. Lori, would you like to read the ordinance?
Ordinance 1441, an ordinance of the City of Maitland, Florida, adopting a new general codification of the Code of Ordinances, as supplemented and revised from time to time, providing for codification of the general and permanent ordinances of the City of Maitland that have been adopted by the Maitland City Council on or before November 11, 2024, providing for the repeal of certain ordinances not included therein, providing for penalty for violation thereof, providing for the manner of amending such code, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Thank you much, Lori. Mr. City Manager, would you like to introduce the item?
Yeah, there's not much more. We talked about this in some detail at the last meeting, but this is where we, every 10 years, are required to go and update our ordinance based upon statutory requirements that have been changed over the years, and put the ordinances in that have not been adopted into the code, so it's all in one document. So that's pulling that all together. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Yeah, does anybody, I know this is the second reading, so we've gone through it, but does anybody on council have a question for Mark? No? Okay. Then, seeing none, we will open it up to for public comment. Would anybody like to address this in the audience? Seeing none, we will close the public comment. All right. Any further discussion from council? No? Okay, seeing none, we will Call on Lori to, I would be looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve on second reading ordinance number 1441, adopting the new general codification of the Code of Ordinances.
Second.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion. Lori, would you call roll, please?
Councilmember Randall.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Guthrie.
Aye.
Councilmember Crouch.
Aye.
Okay, great. We're rolling right along here. Second reading of the ordinance number 1447, amending section 8.03, runoff election date, and 8.04, qualifying of the city of Maitland. Lori, would you like to read this ordinance, please?
Ordinance 1447, an ordinance of the city of Maitland, Florida, amending the city charter, sections 8.03C, runoff city election, and 8.04 candidate qualifying, modifying the runoff election date and qualifying period for the 2026 general municipal election, and in each subsequent year, except for those years that are a multiple of 4, to a date and period that is in harmony with the supervisor of elections and in compliance with Florida statutes, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, providing for classification, and providing for an effective date.
Awesome, thank you. Mark, would you like to introduce the item?
Yeah, just quickly as a reminder, that we discussed the first reading of this ordinance. This is an ordinance that cleans up the charter to allow our elections, our qualifying and our runoff elections to be consistent with dates established by the supervisor of elections. As we talked about, sometimes the hard dates in our charter would conflict with the changing laws that the supervisor of election has to follow. So this ordinance cleans that up. It requires us to coordinate each year with those qualifying dates with supervisor elections. And those are established by resolution every year anyway, so it'll come to the city council as a resolution establishing those time frames.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
I just have one. I think we talked about this, and I should ask you this today, but I'm sorry I didn't. So that will provide longer periods of time for people running for office to go out and fundraise and get all their flyers done, their signs done, everything like that, correct? We'll have a longer period of time than we did before, or no?
Well,
Well, that is your,
This is her
yes,
Yeah.
it lengthens the period a little bit longer. However, in this period, and I think Councilmember French can attest to, it was a very short time period, turnaround time before to come off the holidays, have to do petitions, have to set up a bank account, have to get everything done. This is going to back it up to be before the holidays. Therefore, I don't know how much campaigning people are going to do through the holidays, but this certainly gives everyone the ability to hit the ground running right after or as soon as they would like. There still will be the criteria, though. You can prep your signs, you can prep your flyers, but you do have to follow when signs can go out, which is 60 days before. The only additional responsibility would be it will require one more additional financial report, because you will have the qualifying period ending in Q4, which will require one additional candidate campaign and treasurer report.
Yeah. And I think that sounds good, because I still remember when I ran 5 years ago, it was, I think, right when I could start campaigning, that's when everybody was leaving to go out for Christmas, and the holidays. So, yeah, it was quite hard to get all that stuff going, and then people come back, and New Year's and everything, it made it a little difficult. So even a couple extra days really helps out when you're campaigning. So that's great news.
I guess it changed, because I know in 2010 when I ran for council, I think I started my campaign probably November.
You were probably
Yeah.
piggybacking on a presidential preference primary.
Maybe, I don't know, but
So that would-
I think a couple of them were earlier, not just me, but other people
So
too.
this will set the time frame to always be in that November to early December with petitions middle and candidate qualifying. than taking you all the way through the March election.
But I think candidates can go ahead and make the decision if they're going to run, like
They
you
can do it
say.
now.
Yeah, exactly, and they can already go ahead and start planning for their campaign, just not executing it until that date.
Yeah, I think mine was like the 12th of December or something. Then on the 19th of March, they did was the election, because I remember it well because I couldn't celebrate because the governor has shut down all the bars and restaurants at 5 o'clock, and I won at 7 o'clock at night on that same day. So during COVID, so I couldn't do anything. But that was the time period, because I remember it was March 19th was that time period. So we had 2 months almost exactly.
I think ours, I think it was January 10th was qualifying, when we were officially qualified.
It was the third week of January.
Yeah.
So,
Very late.
Yeah.
which is the root of the problem we're falling into. The biggest thing is, by statute, federal election, supervisor elections has to begin mailing out ballots 45 days prior to the election. Qualifying for this election looking forward ends on the 46th day. That makes it very tight, near impossible to do. Because of the ballot proof prep has to come back to us, go back to them.
Yeah, and that's what it was. Early December, I had to start going and getting my signatures and everything like that. So,
Okay. Any more questions of Laura or Mark? Anybody from the public would like to comment on this ordinance? Anybody at all? Anybody? Any takers?
I told them to line up.
Okay.
Stay in order.
All right, we haven't received any speaker cards. Okay, let's close the public comment period, and if there's no further discussion, a motion will be in order.
Would you like me to?
Yeah, good, Scott.
Okay, I will, on second reading, ordinance number 1447, amending section 8.03C runoff election day and 8.04 qualifying of Maitland City Charter. I move we adopt.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Laura, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Guthrie,
Aye.
Councilmember Randolph,
Aye.
Councilmember French,
Aye.
Mayor Wells.
Aye. Okay, it is approved. Let's move to the next item, which is setting a proposed millage rate, which is one of our most important functions. So let's turn it over to Mark to introduce the item.
Thank you very much, Mayor. In accordance with the Truth and Millage Act compliance requirements as laid out in Chapter 200 of the Florida statutes, the city has to first calculate the rollback millage rate for the 2025 tax year. And just to get the nomenclature right, 2025 tax year that our 2026 budget is based upon. We also have to set the proposed operating and voted millage debt rates and set date, time, and place for our tentative budget hearing. Those are separated into 4 separate motions as laid out in your staff report. The operating millage rate of 5.0465 was used in preparation of the budget draft. Is 3.5% higher than the rollback rate of 4.8737. The proposed voted debt millage rate is 0.196. That's the debt millage that we used to build City Hall, the police, and fire station. The combined total millage rate of 5.2425 was used in the draft budget that was presented at the last workshop, and it is 0.006 mils less than the prior year's combined total rate of 5.2485. That's because of the property value increase, the modest property value increase we had allows us to reduce the voted debt millage by just a little bit. The maximum millage rate voting requirement outlines 3 levels of options for the City Council. for this tax year. The maximum millage rate that can be levied by a majority vote is 5.5570. Maximum millage rate for 2/3 vote is 6.1347. And with a unanimous vote of City Council, you can go all the way up to the statutory limit of 10 mils. Once council sets the proposed millage rate, we certify that through a series of state forms. That's returned to the Orange County property appraiser. That information will be used to generate the notice of proposed taxes, your trim notice that you get in the mail. And that's issued sometime in mid-August by the property appraiser. Based upon our discussions at the budget workshop, we're not recommending a millage rate increase. We have presented a balanced budget based upon the current millage rate. That's what, from a staff perspective, we would recommend you move forward with. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them before we talk about the motions.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Any questions from Mark? All right. Let's turn to the public then. Does anybody from the public have any comments about this item? Okay. Seeing none, let's close the public period. And after further discussion, if any, there are going to be 4 separate motions that we need to do. And I think we have the little extra help here on the desk, just in case we need it, to get us through these 4 very laborious motions. But they are important because they will tell us exactly what people will be paying in taxes. And so traditionally, we've, I don't say traditionally, but we've often, in the last 10 years, set the proposed millage rate higher than we actually intended to be, to give ourselves some wiggle room, just in case we need to, something would happen between now and when we finally set the rate. I'm not sure that we need to do that. And in fact, in all the times I sat up here doing that, it never occurred that anything, there's no emergency that required us to have a higher rate. So I'm in favor of setting the trim rate at what we intend it to be ultimately. There's no need of surprising people or alarming people at what we're doing. So,
Is the only wiggle room that might happen is if the property appraiser comes back with a lower estimate on the property value?
That would be it, but we wouldn't know that number until October anyway, so we wouldn't be able to make an adjustment in our September hearings.
yeah, I think we were thinking about devastating hurricane.
Mhm.
We need to set a higher tax rate in order to stay ourselves out of the hole.
The heat bubble doesn't qualify, right?
Yeah. Okay, so is there any further discussion on where we'd like to set the tax rate? Or we've had plenty of discussion already, but we can have more, or we can move to, everybody feels so moved, to make a motion.
I'm happy to make a motion. I'll move to set the rollback millage rate for the 2025 tax year as 4.8737 mils.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Laura, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Randall?
Aye.
Councilmember French?
Aye.
Councilmember Guthrie?
Aye.
Mayor Lance?
Aye. Okay, we have a rollback rate. Now about the proposed millage rate, operating millage rate for 2025.
I'll make a motion to move to set the proposed operating millage rate for the 2025 tax year at 5.0465 mils.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Lori, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember French?
Aye.
Councilmember Guthrie?
Aye.
Councilmember Randall?
Aye.
Mayor Lance?
Aye. Okay, we have a tentative millage rate. Who would like to talk about debt millage?
That's a hot thread conversation right there.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody is good.
Okay, good. Do we have a motion for that one?
Do that. I move to set the proposed voted debt millage rate for the 2025 tax year at 0.1960 mils for a combined total of 5.2425 mils.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Lori, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Randall?
Aye.
Councilmember Guthrie?
Aye.
Councilmember French?
Aye.
Mayor Long?
Aye. Okay, now we need to set a date and a time for when we're going to do this finally. Does anybody have a motion for that?
Sure, I'll make a motion. I'll move to set the date, time, and place for the public hearing on the tentative budget for the fiscal year 2025 through 2026 as Monday, September 8th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. here in the City Hall Council Chambers.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Lori, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember French?
Aye.
Councilmember Randall?
Aye.
Councilmember Guthrie?
Aye.
Mayor Long?
Aye. Okay, we have done our statutory duty by the millage rate. And we're on to reports. Mr. City Attorney?
No, sir.
Nothing. Okay. Mr. City Manager?
No, sir.
All right. Madam Clerk?
Yes, I just want to give you a reminder that we do have a workshop come next Monday morning at 5:30. I mean,
5:30.
Monday evening. I was going to have you here earlier.
Didn't want us to miss that.
Monday, August 4th at 5:30 p.m.
All right. And what was that? That one is for?
At the Enterprise Special Revenue Funds.
Okay. Right. Okay, thank you. Members of council, anybody have a report?
Yeah, we got a few things. One, I'll start out with some good news. I did my good deed today. I saved a soft shell turtle that was crossing Wymore, put him in Lake Sedalia. So that was my good deed for the day. But question for everybody on council, I mean, does everybody on here know about the redistricting of Orange County for Orange County commissioners? They're adding 2 new districts. You know about it?
Yes.
Aware of it, yes.
Huh?
I'm aware of it. yes.
Okay. So, I don't know if y'all have seen, but there are 3 proposed ones they have right now that they really like, but then there's still a whole bunch more that they're filtering through. But so really what this conversation is to find out the interest. If we, A, have interest in, voicing, kind of what we would like as a council to see happen in the redistricting, or B, just let them do what they do and we work with what we get, or, just don't worry about it at all. So I want to see what the interest is in it with everybody. So that being said, I've looked at 3 of the maps. 2 of the 3 that they have right now are really kind of great, especially the second one. I think it's called Washington 2. And it puts us in with Winter Park, Edenville, College Park. I think it almost goes out to Ocoee, and then downtown Orlando, part of downtown Orlando. But then there's a third map that puts us in with Tangerine and Apopka, and and that's kind of where my concern is. I mean, so what? Then that map would take Edenville out of it with us. So my question to y'all is and there's a meeting Wednesday downtown for it that they're going to talk, and you can kind of have a public period and voice whatever you would like to voice. So that's kind of where I'm at. Do we have a want at all to maybe send somebody down there, or B, look into it, and then if we want, write a letter to all the commissioners, what we would like to see as a city. So I just want to put it out there and see what everybody's thoughts are. We'll start with you, Bill. Any want, any need, any concerns?
I guess I need to become more familiar with it. based on that. Mark, do we have anything in writing from the county about it, or is it just something they're floating around right now?
They're, I would say, option B, they're floating it around right now. They have a pretty comprehensive website up that shows the maps that are under consideration. There are currently 18 maps under consideration. The three that Councilmember Guthrie referred to are the ones that have made it through for final consideration. They're still reviewing 15 others. They have meetings scheduled through August to review those with their planned adoption September 3rd for the Board of County Commissioners.
So the meeting on Wednesday, rather, is that a county commission meeting, or is that an advisory board meeting? Or
Advisory board meeting.
No, we jump in on you there.
No, that's the main thing. So we have a little time.
Yeah, there's 4 more meetings before the, looks like the final recommendation would go to the county commission.
Yeah, but I wanted to bring it up now so we could do a little homework if we're interested and really kind of coming back and then saying, all right, I think we should do this, or nah, I've looked into it and I feel good. So,
Well, I think you bring up a good point. I think one of those maps doesn't sound like it really serves us. I mean, if we're going to be with similarly situated communities in a relatively compact way, geographically, sounds like 2 of those probably would be good. I guess if we, thinking about it procedurally, if we wanted to, as a council, come up with an endorsement for one of these maps, we could do that. We'd have to make sure we get it on an agenda in time to get it done, and we can put it out and see what the public thinks about it, and we can go that way. That probably would be the strongest endorsement. Otherwise, we could just do it individually as council members and say, this is, you can go in and have your 3 minutes in the microphone and do it that way. But it sounds like we would have enough time probably to consider it as a council if that's what we want to do. Anybody have any interest in that?
I agree with you. I think that's the strongest endorsement if we come up with a common map that we want to see that we're within, and send a letter to the county commission.
so that'd be good because we can find out what they've done on Wednesday. Maybe they shortened down this list, of how many maps they're going to have from the 3 major to, and then cut out all the whatever ones they didn't want in that other grouping. So I think we'll know a little more after Wednesday. So, but I would like to see it come back and, I don't know what that looks like, Mark, on an agenda, but do we just take our time right now and come back on?
Well, the next available agenda would be the 11th, so
Yeah.
an agenda item would be placed on there. The question then becomes, you want to put it on for discussion or decision. Time would be right, fairly short.
I mean, I think it could be fine as a discussion piece, and then just, if we all come up with the map that we like and we want to endorse that one, and, we could just give direction to staff to send it out. Is that
It'd
okay?
be just as easy to put on a decision, because under our rules, if you're going to make a decision, then it should be a decision item. The public should know
Right.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes more sense, because then we will have made a decision we can write a letter about. That sounds like a good approach. So in none of the 3 maps are we stretched out across the east like we are currently?
Mm-mm.
Now, the map 3 that Councilmember Guthrie refers to, that's a stretched out the other way,
Right.
to the west, and the rest is very compact.
All the way to Tangerine.
North central county.
Right. Okay. Well, good. Let's shoot for that then, if we can get that on the agenda.
Okay, that's pretty easy. The staff report will be pretty straightforward, but I'll just refer you to the website so you can just review that versus printing up 18 maps that may or may not change.
Right. We might want to be able to broadcast it so people will know what we're looking at, just rather than our, I'm sure we have internet access from the.
Yes, we do. We can jump around and go from map to map.
Okay. Right. Okay, good. Well, thank you, Ben. That's just one of your things. You said you had more.
No, they were saving it for a little
Also-
while.
Okay, all right.
My good deed, my turtle saving.
Just turtles are kind of freaky, the soft shell ones?
Yeah, they are free. They're fast too. I put them down and it was amazing how fast those things go.
All right. Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, I just have a question. I noticed that the Florida League of Cities is having their annual conference here in Orlando in August. Is anybody going to that?
I typically will attend it.
I was thinking about attending it. I can do it on my own dime. I don't need city money.
Well, I mean,
I'll take the city money.
yeah, I think that's an appropriate use of city.
Yeah.
If you're gonna, it's here in town, I mean, you're not gonna
Yeah.
fly to
I
eat
get
here.
everything arranged.
Okay. No hotel stay. I commute each day.
Okay. All right.
I might get frustrated if I go to that. You get frustrated at all, Mark?
Yes, but that's
Part of the job.
why I go there, yes.
Why you been the big one?
Tallahassee.
All right, well, I think that covers us for the evening. Shall we adjourn? Let's do. Thanks, Mitch.